Hello, as we're getting well into summer, it's almost time for the end of term. So it might be time to make a present to say thank you to all the fabulous teachers out there who have been working really hard all year. I know teachers really, really appreciate the beautiful presents that they get, all the more so if they're hand sewn. The symbol of a teacher is an owl. That's for wisdom. So we could make a lovely little owl for our teachers to say thank you very much. You might want to make one for somebody else as well, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So it's a pair of old jeans. When you have a pair of old jeans, especially when you have incredibly tall sons like me, even when they've grown out of them, which they do every 5 seconds when they're growing, it's time to turn these jeans into something else. I was hearing today on the news actually, on a gardening programme actually, about how hard denim is on the environment because it takes a heck of a lot to make denim. So when we've finished with our denim, we need to reuse it lots and lots of times. So you can see that I've already used that pair of jeans to make a pair of jeans for Felicity Crafts here. She's already got herself a pair of jeans, but there's still plenty left over, and I'm going to turn it into an owl. So what you need to do is, with your nice sharp scissors, because it's not easy to cut denim, is cut yourself a couple of squares that are exactly the same size. So it's up to you what size you want to make it. So cut yourself a couple of squares like that. We're also going to need a ribbon for hanging it up. Again, that's been recycled from those ones that you have on cardigans and things like that really get on your nerves on the cardigan. Cut it off, recycle it. Tiny bit of fabric that's left over from something, nice bit of flowery fabric, and a couple of nice big buttons. Again, they can be recycled from something. You're going to need to have a needle and thread, any kind of thread. I've chosen really contrasting thread so you can see it, but that's up to you. Now you could pin these or you could glue them. I'm going to show you how to do that. And for the inside, you can have that fancy toy stuffing, but you can also just use some cotton wool to fluff out your owl. We're going to make a template so that we can have our owl exactly the same size on either side. So we're going to get a little piece of scrap paper and we're going to fold it in half. And then we're going to draw this half an owl shape. So you might want to just pause there and have a little look at how the half owl shape looks. And then we're going to cut that out. And because we then have cut that out, when we open it, it will be symmetrical. So when we open it up again, we're going to have that kind of shape. That's a sort of fat looking kind of owl. Let's have one of those ones today. And it's now going to be symmetrical. If you're not bothered about it being symmetrical, you can always freehand that. And then you're going to put this onto your fabric and you're going to cut round it. You might want to pin that on when you're doing it so that you can cut around it. I would cut both pieces at the same time like that. You might need to get an adult to help you if you like with that one. Cut round it, and so you're going to end up then with 2 owls exactly the same. Now my denim's the same on either side, so we don't need to worry about it. If you have one that's darker and lighter, just decide which one you want and where you want it to go, and then put the 2 of them together. Then we're going to get our nice fabric, patterned piece of fabric, and cut a circle out of it. I just drew around a glue pot. Find something circular that's about the right size, because when you've cut it like this, you're then going to cut it in half and end up with 2 half circles. And the half circles are going to make his wings when they're here. And this looks really nice. So I've chosen a nice blue one here that matches, and we're going to put it on like that before we sew it. Now you can pin that if you want to and pin that on, but I always find it a little bit awkward to sew around the pins. But a big revelation was that you can use this kind of glue on fabric. It won't last forever, but it will hold it while you are ready to start sewing it. So just put yourself a little bit of glue on the edges and you're matching up your curvy side with the curved side of your owl. So the curved side of the circle is going to go to the curved side of the owl. And that's now just held on a little bit and we're ready to sew it. The sewing is going to be the simplest way that you can do it. You're going to thread up your needle and put a knot on the end of it, making sure that the knot is going on the inside. So that's now going to be the bit we're not going to see. And we're going to do the whole of the owl's features before we sew it together. And you're going to do what we call a running stitch. So you put it through from the back, pull it all the way through, and then go down, and then go up again. I'm just going to flip onto the other camera so that you can see that really clearly while we put his face on. So you can see here that we've got, you can see where the red thread is, showing you what the running stitch looks like. So you're going to go up from the back with your needle, like that. Pull it up about 1 centimetre and go back down again. Pull it all the way, go up from the back. You can turn it over if you want to. I'm used to sewing, so I know where it is, but if you need to turn it over and shove it from the back like that, that's fine. If it keeps coming out when you pull it like that, put your fingers over the eye of the needle as you're doing it, and it stops it from coming out like that. When you get to the end, when you go all the way around it, and don't worry about whether or not you can see the stitches, that's the point, making these nice handmade stitches so that we can see how much care and love you've put into each one. When you're going around like that, we're then going to just tie a knot on the back. Knots can be a little bit tricky to do, so if you need to ask somebody to help you with that, that's absolutely fine. We're now going to put the eyes on, so decide where you want your eyes to be. And for the beak, we're just going to give a tiny little bit of felt or a scrap of fabric there, just sewn on as well, a little bit. So you can have his eyes so that the holes in the buttons are going that way or going that way. But either way, we're just going to come up from the back through the hole of the button and then go back down again. So I'll just show you. Decide where you want your button, where you want your eye to be. And then you're going to come up from the bottom like that and then go through the hole in your button. Again, if it's a little bit tricky, you can ask somebody to help you with that when you're going, just to get started. And then go back down like that on the other one. And then again, coming up on the other side, attaching your button and coming through. And then you're going to put your tiny little beak in between. Pull it quite tight so that the buttons are there, and you can always stick those on with glue as well if you don't want to do the sewing. We're then going to get the two things together, both sides of the owl together, and then just sew all the way around with the same up and down running stitch all the way around. Oh, I'm just getting it caught on his eye there. You're going to go all the way around, but stop before you get right to the top. So we're going to go all the way around these edges like this, doing that stitch, and then go all the way around and stop there. When we get to there, that's when we're going to put our cotton wool in. Remember, you can always take your cotton wool off onto bits like this, you know, and then push it in through the top, making it all nice and fat before he's finished all the way, and then go over and give it a knot. You can add that bit of ribbon in there as you're sewing along the top bit if you want it to be hung up like that. Okay, thank you very much for teaching me this year. That's a great present for your teacher. So if you want to put the ribbon on it, you can put ribbon on. You could also put a brooch back on the back of there, either glued or sewn, so that you could wear it as a brooch or stick it onto a card as well. If you don't want to do all the sewing, you could follow the same thing out of paper and stick it onto a card. There's a lot of lavender around at the moment as well, and I know our school garden is full of lavender. If you wanted to, you could put some lavender inside there and make it smell really nice. Maybe even spray it with a little bit of perfume if you ask whoever owns the perfume first if they don't mind. And then give that to your teacher to say thank you so much. Teachers miss you over the summer holidays, and having a lovely little hand-sewn owl to remind them of you until we meet again in September would be lovely. Enjoy your summer holidays. You've deserved them from working hard this year, and the teachers and the children all have a wonderful summer holiday. And I'll see you every week for some Flisty Crafts ideas to keep everybody busy. Bye.